Nice day for a video game, isn't it? What do you want to play?
Jurassic Park.
Okay. Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to another video. Who doesn't like Jurassic Park? I'm not talking about the less than stellar sequels, and let's not even get into Jurassic World. I'm talking about the 1993 movie based on the Michael Crichton novel. Personally, I count it among my favorite movies. Not only does the plot explore the ethical issues revolving around cloning long-dead species, but it was groundbreaking for special effects. I mean, look at these dinosaurs. They might as well have gotten actual dinosaurs for the movie. And you know what? It still looks great even 30 years later. Heck, enough people loved this movie so much that it inspired a whole string of video games in the 90s. Jurassic Park was big. You can bet your ass on it. Yeah, that was pretty bad. As a kid in the 90s, I loved Jurassic Park, and some of my fondest memories were playing Jurassic Park video games. So today, I feel like talking about the Jurassic Park video game franchise, specifically 3 games: Jurassic Park, and, of course, Jurassic Park. What, you think they're all the same game? Yeah, I could see why someone would make that assumption. After all, each game is called Jurassic Park, they each have the same artwork on the box, heck, all 3 are on Sega systems. But I can assure you, these are 3 entirely different games. Only one of these games even remotely follows the events of the movies, one serves as a sequel to the movie, and the other one completely disregards the movie. And of course, I'm only going to be covering the games that I actually own, so I won't be talking about the Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park. I remember playing the Nintendo game years ago, but I haven't played the Super Nintendo game, and I only want to include games that I've played recently in this video, so here we are.
Oh, there it is.
Let's start talking about our first game, Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Crash a Jeep and make your way through a park full of dinosaurs. Up first is Jurassic Park on the Sega Genesis. This side-scrolling action game lets you slip into the white hat and blue button-down shirt of Dr. Alan Grant, or the claws of some random raptor. The Dr. Grant levels start with Grant after the Jeep crashes. By himself, mind you, not with Lex and Tim Murphy. He has to make his way through the park, a power plant, a boat ride? Pump station? Yeah, this game very loosely follows the movie, and even the word loosely is generous. You remember that part of the movie where Dr. Grant makes his way through a dino-infested volcano before winding up at the visitor center, right? Of course you do! I feature this game in my Waz Plays series, and I have fond memories of it growing up as a kid who loved Jurassic Park. Sure, it doesn't exactly follow the movie as closely as it should, but rarely do video game adaptations of movies actually do, and let's be honest, I don't really care that much. This game satisfies my nostalgia, so I'm happy. It's also worth mentioning that there was a sequel named Jurassic Park Rampage Edition, where the first game has you tranquilizing the dinosaurs about 90% of the time. Rampage Edition completely throws that out the window. It's every Dr. Grant for himself. Dr. Alan Grant? More like Dr. Alan Rambo.
I'm coming to get you.
Jurassic Park was successful. Well, not the park, that was dead in the water before it even left the harbor. But the movie was a success, even ripe for a sequel. So for the continuation of Jurassic Park comes the thrilling 1994 sequel, Jurassic Park. No, I'm perfectly serious. Jurassic Park on the Sega CD is a sequel to Jurassic Park. They couldn't even come up with another name for it? Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park The Return, heck, even Jurassic Park Electric Boogaloo. Nope, Jurassic Park. Well, that's not confusing at all. I've already done a full video review of this game, which you should definitely check out. But what I can add is that the Sega CD game feels more in line with the movie than the Genesis game. Or the sequel to the Genesis game, for that matter. This feels like a proper continuation. It doesn't change the events of the movie because the movie events had already happened. And the premise of the story isn't that far out there either. InGen is trying to salvage their dinosaur eggs, so they send you to Isla Nublar to collect them. And of course, their competitor, Biosyn, has something to say about it. I mean, it's not the deepest plot, but it really doesn't have to be. It's just a nice opportunity to visit Jurassic Park once again. And then experience some of the most horrifying sound effects when you die.
That's gotta hurt!
Pack your Sega Game Gear and half a dozen AA batteries because you'll need Jurassic Park for those long family road trips. You may notice that some Sega Genesis games have a port on the Sega Game Gear. I know I own both Echo the Dolphin games on the Sega Game Gear, in addition to my Genesis and Sega CD copies. Though calling them ports would be rather generous because they're very much reduced. So you would assume Jurassic Park would be the same as Jurassic Park. Nope! Jurassic Park on the Sega Game Gear is an entirely different game. In fact, it practically disregards the movie altogether. While the Genesis game loosely followed the movie and the Sega CD game acted more like a sequel, this game is more like a prequel in an alternate timeline. Jurassic Park is about to open, and the dinosaurs have escaped, so it's up to you, which is presumably Dr. Grant, but who could tell, to get them all back in their pens so the park can open. In fact, the game ends with Dr. Grant giving the okay to open the park. Like, what?
After careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park.
The game itself is a combination of driving sections similar to rail shooters and platforming sections. Each level corresponds to a particular dinosaur habitat. You can pick and choose which level you want to start with, but to be honest, I didn't get very far in this game. It looks like you have to go through different doors, but I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be going, and yeah, I gave up on this game after about 20 minutes. It was kind of tough, and it differentiated a little too much from the movie for my taste. It's worth noting that I didn't grow up playing this one, so I don't have the nostalgic ties to this game that I do with the other two. If you loved this game growing up, great. For me, though, it's kinda meh. 3 games, all called Jurassic Park, all on Sega systems, each one having the same artwork, but each one entirely different. Why? Why would anyone think this is a good idea? Sure, the Genesis Jurassic Park game was made by a different publisher, Blue Sky, but the Sega CD and Game Gear games were Sega, so you can't even say it was 3 different publishers claiming the same name but making different games. Giving each game a different title would have made sense and would have prevented this kind of confusion. You can keep the title for the Genesis game Jurassic Park, but something like Jurassic Park The Return for the Sega CD and something like Jurassic Park Please Don't Eat Me, Mr. T-Rex for the Game Gear. Well, quick Googling about the names didn't turn up much, so I guess this is just a mystery lost to time. But nevertheless, I wanted to make a video to highlight some Jurassic Park games and the fact that they're confusing. But now what about you? Did you play any of these Jurassic Park games? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Were you confused about each game box looking almost identical, but each game being different? Please, leave a comment below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another video. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
She doesn't even have Sega. She's such a troglodyte.